Okay, so we're going to do a quick little overview of ratios and proportions, and this shouldn't take too long. I am going to give you a few problems to work out as homework that are going to be due Friday. It's only going to be 5 problems, but if you work on it in class, then you should be able to get done with them. So you can just write this on a regular notebook sheet of paper. Your homework you can write on a regular notebook sheet of paper, and you can turn it into me. Or I have those half sheets of paper that you can also turn in. Turn them into me next time if you do finish today. So these notes, I just want you to write into your journal, and it's not going to be too much. I have, I think, 3 or 4 examples. So my first one, whoa, go back. You didn't see that at all. Okay, so I want you to get out your green geometry books and turn to chapter 7, page 455. Your green geometry book, you should have one underneath your desk. If you don't have one underneath your desk, then check another empty desk and see if there's one underneath there. If there's not, then in the cabinet, the brown cabinets, there are geometry books in the bottom. You can get one of those. Remember, if you need to stop this video, you can. Just ask the sub to stop the video, and it should be fine. So ratios and proportions, chapter 7 in the green book, page 455. You can look at these examples to help you out with some of the problems I give you, but I'm going to do a couple examples for you. So the first example is, you'll know you don't see any of that at all either. Okay, I got this now. So, our first example is 5 divided by y equals 45 divided by 63. Now, normally how we solve these is that we cross multiply. So, first steps is multiplying 5 by 63 and then multiplying y by 45. So, when we multiply 5 by 63, it is 315, and y by 45 is just going to be 45y. So now, since I'm trying to solve for y, over here, I need to divide off my 45 to get my y by itself. So, dividing my 45, kind of goes off the page a little bit here. But dividing off my 45. Then after that, by my y and my 45s, on the top and the bottom, they will cancel. And that leaves me with y equals 315 divided by 45. When I put that in the calculator, y equals 7. And this is pretty much all there is to solving proportions. Now we're going to have a section later about creating the proportions from word problems, but this is pretty much just your solving proportions. Okay, so we're going to go on to problem number 2. Now, I want to let you know that you don't always have to cross multiply to solve problems, and this is one of them. So, sometimes you might get really big numbers, and it might just be easier to solve it a different way. So, I look at this one. I look at my 2 bottom numbers here. If I have 2 numbers that are like proportional, like 4 times what equals 16? 4 times 4 equals 16. So that means my x on top is also going to be 3 times 4 as well, multiplied by 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So that means x is also going to equal 12. And if you do cross multiplication here, it'll get you the exact same answer. I do 16 times 3, which is 48. Divide 48 by 4. That will also give me 12. But there are simpler ways sometimes that will save you some time. Example 3 is also another proportion. It's going to be like the first one. We're going to solve by cross multiplying. So we have y divided by 3 equals 27 divided by y. Now, sometimes you can't always do the the multiplying by a certain number, so you do have to do cross multiplication. So we have our y times y, and then 3 times 27. So y times y, multiply y by itself, gives me y squared. And 27 times 3 is 81. So in this one, I'm solving for my y. I have a square right here. So to get rid of my square, I always square root both sides. So by my y, I have a square root and I have a square. Now from what we were doing before, do you remember, right now, with our special right triangles, our square root and our square, they will cancel out. So now I have y equals the square root of 81. We put in our calculator, the square root of 81 is going to be 9. Now, I know this because 81 is a perfect square. So, but it's not going to happen all the time. So what we usually do is we would make our tree. Square root of 81, I know that 9 times 9 equals 81. I can make a group of 9s which equal 9. And that's going to be my answer. But, if you know it's a perfect square, then that's fine. But remember, on these words, I don't want decimals. No decimals. That includes on your homework that you're doing right now for 7.3 and 4, no decimals. I want stuff in radicals. Okay, now we have one more problem to do. Okay, now for the last problem, problem number 4. It says, Josefina sells helium balloons. She charges $9 for 12 balloons. At this rate, what would she charge for 50 balloons? Okay, now you can write down this problem if you want to take time. If you need to stop the camera, that's fine. The video, that's fine. So, the first thing we have a proportion. So we have $9 for 12 balloons. So that means we have our money, over the number of balloons. And I'm going to rewrite this so you can see it better. So my dollar sign represents my money, and my balloons is my number of balloons that I sell. So for my first proportion, I can do $9 over 12 balloons. That's what it gives me. So we're going to do 9 over 12. And for my second, it says at what rate, at this rate. So my rate, that's my x. That's what I'm looking for on top there. And she charges me, if I buy 50 balloons, how much would she charge me? So that's my x. That's what I'm looking for. Now in this one, I can cross multiply like I did all my other ones. Now that I have it set up, it's just a regular proportion. So I have 9 times 50, which I can do 9 times 5, which is 45, and then just add my 0, equals 12 times x, which is just going to be 12x. Now that I want to solve for x, all I need to do is get my 12 by itself. So divide off my 12 on both sides. On my first side, 12 cancels out. That leaves you with x equals 450 divided by 12. When I divide that in my calculator, I get 37.5. So x equals 37.5, which means that if I were to buy 50 balloons, that would cost me $37.50. Okay, so that's the end of our short proportion lesson. The next slide has 5 problems that I want you to turn in to me Friday. So I'm going to be here Wednesday, so if you have any questions over this, you can ask me about it. I will also put this video up on Edmodo so you can look at it if you need help. I do realize that I am assigning you books. I'm assigning you homework from the book. So if you can't copy all the problems down, if you don't have a book with you, you can copy the problems down or take a picture of the problems. They are all even, so they are not in the back of the book, just to let you know. So this is due Friday, page 458 in your book. Numbers 22, numbers 24, 26, 30, and 43 is on page 459. I want you to show your work and all this. I know it is easy to do it in the calculator, but don't just give me 22 equals 5, 24 equals 8, 26 equals 10, okay? I want you to actually write out the proportion, show how you solved it, okay? And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.